Here at Rhyl Harbour in North Wales, there's something that's quite special that's buried underneath one of the sandbanks, and it usually goes unnoticed. Beginning in 2012, a huge renovation took place, which changed the landscape and shifted the sands about in the harbour. This information board goes some way of giving us a little bit of information about what's actually buried here, but after 3 months of research, I can now give you the story of a ship called the City of Ottawa. The City of Ottawa was built between September 1859 and July 1860 at the yard of Jean Ella Gingras. The shipyard was located on a bend in the St Charles River in Quebec. She was named to mark an event in the history of Canada, which at that time was part of the British Empire. In 1857, Queen Victoria chose Ottawa to be the capital of Canada. To give you some idea of what this merchant ship was capable of carrying, her maiden voyage cargo was 143 tonnes of oak, 39 tonnes of elm, 13 tonnes of birch and 766 tonnes of red and white pine, as well as other goods. Her length was 169 feet, her breadth was 33 feet, and the depth of her hold was 21 feet. On her 3 masts can be seen 3 flags. On her 4 masts is the Union Jack with a white border. Sometimes referred to as a pilot jack or merchant jack, this indicates that the ship is civilian and not military. The white flag with a red edging on the main mast was probably the house flag of Ross & Co., the ship's agents. And the flag at the stern of the ship is the British Red Ensign, flown by colonial ships as Canada was still a colony at the time. In an age when ships did not carry radio equipment, they used a system called sightings at sea. On coming to port, they would report all sightings, which would be published in the Lloyd's List, which is one of the world's oldest continuous running journals. This was a way for ship owners and relatives of the crew to get news of the progress the ship was making. After leaving Calcutta in June 1862, she was reported off the coast of Madagascar on July the 18th. By September the 14th, she was sighted again off Gambia on the west coast of Africa. She arrived at the Albert Dock in Liverpool on October the 16th. When she arrived at the docks, her cargo was rice, saltpetre, cotton, jute, rapeseed, cowhides, gunnery cloth, indigo and linseed. This is the kind of high quality cargo that only a good ship like the Ottawa could carry, as lower graded ships ran the risk of springing leaks and therefore damaging the cargo. Unfortunately, it was while she was docked in Liverpool that she was involved in her first collision. The Carrier Dove was a large American vessel registered in New York. At 1,545 tonnes, she was much larger than the City of Ottawa. She arrived at the Albert Dock on the 15th of October 1862 and began discharging her cargo. It was a very stormy day, and in the early evening she dragged her anchor and collided with the West Constant, another large ship. By 7 p.m, after colliding with yet another ship, the carrier Dove struck the City of Ottawa. The collision of the City of Ottawa with the carrier Dove seems to have turned her owner Kenneth Dow against ship owning, and the vessel was put up for sale. After her collision with the carrier Dove, the City of Ottawa lay in the Queen's Graving Dock in Liverpool. While she was there, she was surveyed and remetalled. This is necessary at frequent intervals to avoid build-up of barnacles on ships' hulls. She lay there until she could find some new owners. Thomas Restrick and his son acquired her on the 22nd of January 1863 and transferred her registration to Plymouth. On April the 2nd, she sailed for Quebec, arriving there on May the 14th. Thomas Restrick Sr. owned some 19 ships over 32 years. Upon his death on the 13th of October 1864, only 3 ships remained, and his son took over the business. The ship Princess Rhyl was lost at St Lawrence in September 1869, and the ship Eliza was lost in Newfoundland fogs at Cape Breton in June 1873. Presumably she was shipwrecked on rocks. It's at this point that the City of Ottawa was sold again to John Porter Rogers. Rogers struggled financially, and in 1878, at the age of 43, died of dropsy, probably a result of kidney failure. A large part of the City of Ottawa's working life was spent in the South Wales coal trade. Coal was really the only thing that Cardiff exported in the late 1800s, and the City of Ottawa often set sail from Cardiff to destinations such as Bombay, Quebec, Cape Verde, Rio de Janeiro and the Panama. When the City of Ottawa was young and profitable, she would have had a crew of around 26 men and 3 apprentices. By 1887, she was entering the last part of her life as a merchant vessel. Sometime in 1888, she was sold to the City of Ottawa Sailing Ship Co. Limited. She effectively stayed in the hands of John Porter Rogers, her owner, but he was now protected from personal liability by reason of acting through a limited company. In 1896, the City of Ottawa was put up for sale once again, but this time it's the War Office that bought her. She was bought and anchored at a naval base in Portland and was used as a government storage ship. Given her age, the Ottawa was still sufficiently watertight for the War Office to use her to store explosives in. By 1906, she was no longer fit for purpose, and the Admiralty decided to dispose of her. She was sold at auction and was bought to be broken up by Robert Jones and Company of Rhyl. This is where she was towed to by tugboat. The Ottawa became grounded on a sandbank in Rhyl harbour, and this is where she remains today.